Hey, what's going on, you guys? Today we are going to install a 1,000-watt inverter in the back of the FZJ80 Land Cruiser, the venerable FZJ80 Land Cruiser. We beat the hell out of that thing. Anyway, it's one of the first things you're going to want to do when you're building out your overland rig. If you agree adventure is necessary, you have joined Overland Bound. You've gone to the meetups, you've met with folks who have already built out their rig, and you're ready to start building your own. This is one of the first things you're going to want to do. All right, now we have a part one called Power in the Back, and we ran power from the front of the engine bay to the back of the rig. Now you don't want to mess around with the electricals. It is highly critical that you do it right. This adventure vehicle is an investment, and the last thing you want to do is have a short that damages your equipment or, forbid, burns your rig to the ground out there in the middle of no place. That can happen. And have you ever seen a vehicle burn halfway? No, you have not. You do not want to mess around with the electrical, so we're going to show you how to do it right. You want to be careful when you're doing it, and we'll point out some safety techniques, things you want to make sure that you do as we go. But this video, it's a pretty basic install. It's not going to be that long. There are a couple of considerations that you need to think about when picking your inverter, pure sine wave or modified. And there's a difference. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not an expert. Let's go and talk to Wagon Tech, who provided the pure line 1,000-watt inverter for the install, and they're going to tell us about what you might consider when picking out an inverter. All right, let's go talk to Wagon. I'm here with Justin at Wagon. Justin, before we get started talking about the inverter options, why don't you tell me just a little bit about Wagon, what you're all about, and what it is you do here.
Okay, Wagon, we've been around for 35 years. United States-based company. We've been in California for the entire time, 35 years. We're an automotive accessory company. We manufacture everything from heated seat cushions to refrigerators to power inverters, lighting, and more.
Yeah, cool. Cool. I see. Just in the conference room here, your display, you have a wide variety of products.
We certainly do.
One thing I've noticed in using the products that we use, we have your dome light, and we also have the little lantern. Right. Is that it's highly functional, it's durable. So I noticed that about the Wagon products.
Right. That's an incredibly important thing with our products is that they're actually functional, reliable, and durable. Innovation is one of our giant hallmarks, and so we definitely play that into all of our products to ensure that they meet those high standards.
Can you tell me, for my use, for an overland vehicle, what my considerations are in terms of inverters? You guys have a bunch of different inverters. What should I be thinking about? What should I probably go with?
Basically, you're going to take a look at whether you want modified sine or pure sine wave inverters.
Okay.
And then what your wattage requirements are. If you're going to be using small devices like
my hair dryer.
So your hair dryer, certainly, or your curling iron.
Right.
Yeah, you'll want something a lot bigger. Something usually over 1,000 watts, 1,100 watts for those.
Yeah.
If you're just doing a laptop computer, it's generally like 70 watts. So it basically depends on what you're going to be using and what your power requirements are. So the Pro Line series or the Slim line would be our modified sine wave inverters, which is just a cheaper modified alternative to create a power inverter. Pure sine is what comes out of the wall outlets in your house. It's a lot cleaner, less cycling, less heat, so it's more reliable and more efficient as well.
Okay, so primarily it's going to be for recharging equipment. What would you recommend, in terms of size and type?
Certainly. I think 1,000 watt is generally good for an all-around basic approach to power, especially in the back of your vehicle. For lighting especially, a lot of times those are high draw devices. So I would say a Pureline 1000 is probably a good bit. If you're going to be using your hairdryer like you stated, I might go to the 2000 on that one.
That thing's huge right there.
It is.
So if you guys are really focused on making your margaritas once you get out there off the grid, then you probably want something like the Pureline.
Certainly.
The 2000.
Certainly.
Right on. Hey, do you have any tips for the installation? So I'm probably going to go with the Pureline 1000. Anything I should be considering in terms of the actual installation? It's a big deal for us. We want to make sure that our wiring is spot on. Any tips that you
Certainly.
have?
Oh yeah,
that?
definitely. You definitely don't want that vehicle fire inside of your vehicle, right?
No.
So
right.
basically, I always recommend sizing the wire appropriately. You want to use copper wire, not aluminum wiring.
Yeah.
That's just better heat transfer, better electricity transfer as well. Make sure you use the appropriate size fuse for the inverter as well. And then just make sure when you're installing or running the wire that you use grommets, rubber grommets around any holes so that you're not cutting into the wire accidentally.
Right. Or gauge.
So it depends on the size of the inverter itself. But we actually have a chart on our website that can easily help you select the correct gauge for your installation.
Great. What's the website?
Wagon.com, and it would be in our blog as well.
Okay, so wagon.com. Okay, fantastic. I'm going to try and install this thing.
Excellent.
Wish me luck.
If you need any help, certainly give me a call, and I'll
All right.
definitely be there.
Thanks a lot, Justin.
All right,
I really
Michael.
appreciate it. That was like a trip to the candy store. All right, let's pull this panel and get ready to install this inverter. All right, if you can get one panel off and get access behind the panel, you can see where the clips are and pull out in just that area so you don't break the clips. The clips are replaceable, but it's better if you can reuse them because you don't have to go to the store or order specialty parts. I want access, so I'm lucky this built-in panel will already give me access. I'm also going to install this switch on the outside so that I can turn the inverter on and off. I don't want it running 100% of the time. And this switch, which is made for this inverter, also has a fault alarm and light. That's an audio alarm if there happens to be a fault, and it also has a power indicator. Now every vehicle is going to be different. You're going to need to figure out where it's going to fit in your vehicle. I'm going to sacrifice this entire internal area for my back power solution. I used to fit the jack in there. I probably won't be able to fit that in there. I used to have a come along in there as well. I probably won't be able to fit that, but I'll have one location that will fit my power solution nicely in the back. Right, I've been doing some test fitting, and after messing around with this, I could have done a mount by welding some kind of fancy bracket or even reverting to JB Weld. It's a real tight fit. I'm opting for the Velcro tape. Now, let me tell you, this is good for a couple of different reasons. It's good for a semi-permanent install, and it's good because it really does insulate from rattling. So I'm gonna run two sides of the Velcro tape along the back of the inverter, and then I'm gonna stick it onto the outside wall of the Land Cruiser. I've used this before. It might seem like it's not gonna be secure, but it does a real good job. All right, that's what we're gonna do. All right. Now, my power, you would have seen this in part number 1 of running the power to the back, is in this. It comes all the way back with this super heavy gauge wire, and then it goes through this junction block, and so that big heavy positive lead is going to come from the inverter into this junction block for power. I've got this power turned off at the 100 amp breaker, which I installed under the hood. Again, that's in part 1, but this is a very safe way to distribute power through a junction block. This is a Stinger, so get one of these if you're going to distribute power in the back. Before we put everything back together, I've got the power lead in the junction block. I've got the negative lead on a real solid negative ground. I think we should flip the switch and see what happens. All right, here we go. Moment of truth. That's it? Okay, that's supposed to happen. It says right here. It says right there. That's supposed to happen. Now we are just about to put things back together. The cool thing with this setup about everything that plugs into the inverter, and that is this panel here, right? This panel that's on the outside. Everything that plugs into the inverter is real simple on the back. It's just a standard household plug, which plugs in, and the phone cord that handles the remote to power the inverter on and off. Those things just plug in. So this panel unclips and installs right back in. So now it's time to put it back together. All right, there you go, a 1,000 watt pure sine wave inverter install. I want to say thank you again to Wagon for setting us up with the Pro Line 1,000 watt pure sine wave inverter and for answering our questions about the install. That link will be in the description so you guys can check out that piece of kit. I want to emphasize again, whenever you guys are doing any kind of electrical work, any kind of joints, junctions, any kind of work at all, please exercise great care to be sure your wiring setup is safe. We do a little bit more with soldering and shrink wrap tubing in part 1 of this series, which is Power in the Back part 1. So go and check that one out to see a little bit more of that. Now, the reason you guys are watching this video is because adventure is absolutely necessary, and hopefully you guys are building out your own rig or planning your next great adventure, and we want to help. You do not have to be an Overland Bound member, but if you go over to overlandbound.com and you look at our member map, that's in the top menu, you'll see Rally Point events, and these are events that our members throw all around the world. And you can go there, you can see some awesome builds, a wide variety of vehicles. It doesn't matter what you drive. And one thing about our community is that they are going to help and answer your questions. They would love to. So go and see a wide variety of rigs. It's going to give you ideas for your own build so that you can be safe and prepared while you're seeking adventure. All right, you guys, that's it. Outfit, explore, and until next time, I hope to see you on the trail.